Reports claim that he gave you chlamydia?
Yes, he was my only sexual partner, and I was a virgin, so who could have given it to me? A ghost?
Yeah.
And I literally told him that too. I was like, so who gave it to me? A ghost? At the beginning, I had denied that he gave it to me to him because I was so afraid of how he reacted every time before that when I would bring up STD.
So y'all know I've come to terms that I don't know who gave me AIDS or HIV, right? So today, I got a message about an interview that I should watch. And this interview happened to include a celebrity man this man has been with me and everybody else doing the same thing with everybody else.
So it turns out this situation involving Diddy may be even more complicated than many people first thought, with new rumors continuing to circulate online. According to recent online speculation, there have been unverified claims about his health, as well as claims involving Gena Tew. None of these rumors have been confirmed, and they remain the subject of widespread discussion. Reports and social media conversations have also revisited stories about the private parties he was known for hosting, with many people questioning what may have happened behind the scenes. As for Gena, online rumors claim she attended one of these private gatherings, and people have continued to speculate about how the experience affected her life. There have also been unverified claims about Diddy's medical care while in custody, but no official information has confirmed those reports. For anyone unfamiliar, Gena is a Brooklyn-based Instagram model who has been mentioned in connection with several high-profile celebrities. The news first gained attention in March 2022 when she shared a TikTok video opening up about her health journey. She explained that she wanted to finally tell people why she had been spending so much time in the hospital. She said she had been diagnosed with a serious health condition and explained that managing it had been far more difficult than many people assumed. She described the experience as incredibly challenging and said she was still working through it. According to reports, her doctors believe she had been living with the condition for several years before it was finally identified because of how much it had affected her health. She also said she didn't initially know how she had contracted the virus, although her later comments led to widespread online speculation. She described dealing with recurrent fevers, fainting spells, extreme fatigue, and significant weight loss. She said she visited the hospital multiple times, but was initially diagnosed with other medical conditions before a doctor finally identified the underlying issue.
Now undetectable, G.
Come on.
In the game.
Man.
Because I could tell you 20 right now that I could rattle off names, and wouldn't nobody be able to sue me.
According to her account, she was told receiving treatment when she did was extremely important for her recovery. At her lowest point, she said her health had declined dramatically. She shared that she had lost a significant amount of weight, experienced severe muscle weakness that made it difficult to walk, and even lost vision in one of her eyes. In 2023, Gena said she had become convinced that she knew who had transmitted the virus to her. According to her, it was a well-known public figure she had known for years and had cared deeply about. She also said she had previously been involved in a legal matter related to that individual. An interview the person later gave about health-related topics reportedly made her question the situation even more.
Reports claim that he gave you chlamydia?
Yes, he was my only sexual partner, and I was a virgin, so who could have given it to me? A ghost?
Yeah.
And I literally told him that too. I was like, so who gave it to me? A ghost? At the beginning, I had denied that he gave it to me to him because I was so afraid of how he reacted every time before that when I would bring up STDs to him. It got back to him from someone else.
However, Gena made it clear that she did not want to publicly identify anyone without definitive evidence and said she intended to handle the matter through the proper legal process instead. Her comments quickly sparked widespread online speculation, with many people trying to guess who she was referring to. Despite the rumors, no identity was officially confirmed. After Gena's story shared across social media, countless theories began circulating about who may have been involved. However, none of those claims were officially confirmed, and much of the discussion remained based on online speculation rather than verified facts. People online pointed to a few details that they believed were connected, although none of the theories were ever confirmed. Gena previously said that she experienced a period of homelessness while living in New York and was trying to get by during a very difficult time in her life. Because of that, some people speculated that she may have crossed paths with influential people while she was in a vulnerable situation. As her story spread, social media users began creating their own theories about what might have happened. However, there's never been any official evidence confirming those claims, and they remain online speculation. The discussion also led many people to revisit broader conversations about celebrity parties and the importance of health and safety, with viewers questioning how such events were managed behind the scenes. Speaking of that, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about Kim's book, because that's where the conversation takes another interesting turn.
So how did you find out you had chlamydia? Like, did you like have symptoms, or did you just get tested and it came up?
The first time I had sex with him, I swear I had a rash from hell. I had a freaking rash from hell the first time I had sex with him. It was like a horrible infection that ended up just being like a yeast infection. I got tested both times within a short amount of time.
How did he react when you confronted him, or when he found out from someone else?
From someone else, but I had denied it to him at that point. And I was like upset that like someone else had told him.
An email that was claimed to be from someone connected to a publishing project later circulated online, sparking widespread discussion. The message contained several sensational claims about celebrities and alleged private events, but none of those claims were officially verified. As the email spread across social media, many people began connecting it to older headlines involving other public figures and past legal disputes. Those stories fueled even more online speculation, despite the lack of confirmed evidence linking the various claims together.
Because of how I know how he reacts.
When you were getting intimate with him, obviously you knew that he was like also f***ing a bunch of bitches too, right? It wasn't like he was...
Yeah, but you have to remember that it was under the pretense that he was clean. He kept saying, I get tested as much as a porn star.
Yeah.
So if you get tested as much as a porn star, I'm assuming you're clean. Would have preferred to use a condom, but of course his constant thing was, I'm clean, I get tested a lot, blah, blah, blah. Which I actually found out later on from another girl who reached out to me, and she said, yeah, one of the things that he would always tell me is how he gets tested as much as a porn star in order for us to not use condom.
Over time, social media users started suggesting there was a broader pattern behind the rumors. However, many of the allegations being shared online remain disputed or unverified, making it difficult to separate fact from speculation. The conversation continued to grow as additional lawsuits and public claims involving different individuals attracted media attention, leading to even more debate across the internet. As with many high-profile stories, it's important to distinguish verified information from unconfirmed online rumors. According to the lawsuit, the man said the gathering involved alcohol, and that after having a few drinks, he began feeling unwell and later lost consciousness. He claimed that when he regained awareness, he believed he had experienced a serious incident, though the allegations remain disputed and have not been proven in court. He also claimed that his initial medical test did not show any issues, but the later testing revealed a serious health condition. Those claims are part of the ongoing legal case and have not been established as fact. The story also led many people to revisit comments that comedian Katt Williams has made over the years about the music industry and certain high-profile figures. Social media users began speculating about whether his past remarks were connected to more recent headlines, although many of those claims remain unverified. According to Katt Williams, he had previously declined invitations to attend certain exclusive parties, saying he wanted to stay true to his personal values. That quote has since resurfaced online as people continue discussing the broader controversy.
So y'all know I've come to terms that I don't know who gave me AIDS or HIV, right? So today, I got a message about an interview that I should watch. And this interview happened to include a celebrity man that I was sexually with for a few years, and I actually had feelings for this person. And let's just say this interview put a very bad light on this person. And I've dealt with cops over this person.
In a later GQ interview, Katt Williams elaborated on comments he had made during an earlier podcast appearance. He described the entertainment industry in very strong terms, saying he believes there are larger personal and ethical battles happening behind the scenes. He also explained that when he attended industry events, he viewed himself as more of an observer than a participant. According to Williams, he wanted to see how those events operated and who attended them, rather than become involved himself. As those remarks resurfaced online, they sparked plenty of discussion across social media, with people sharing a wide range of opinions and theories. Some users questioned whether enough attention had been paid to general health and safety practices at private celebrity events, while others argued that it was important not to jump to conclusions without verified evidence. As with many viral stories, much of the online conversation consisted of personal opinions and speculation rather than confirmed facts.
That wasn't the only claim making the rounds online. Around the same time, people also started revisiting old interviews and clips featuring other celebrities who had spoken about the music industry over the years. One interview that kept resurfacing involved singer Jaguar Wright, who's made a number of controversial claims about the entertainment business. In several appearances, she suggested that there was much more happening behind closed doors than the public ever got to see. While many of her statements have never been independently verified, they were repeatedly shared across social media as interest in the story continued to grow.
Due to sex conduct stuff that I thought was no big deal, so I brushed it off. But the fact that it's coming back to my face and they're telling me stuff about STDs and all this mess, and this man has been with me and everybody else doing the same thing with everybody else, and I don't know how to just brush it off anymore, because it's like, what if? You know, what if this is the person who did this to me and he's living his best life?
According to Jaguar, there were powerful people in the industry who carefully protected their reputations while keeping certain parts of their private lives out of the spotlight. She claimed that some celebrities were afraid to speak publicly because they worried about the impact it could have on their careers. Those comments quickly became part of the larger online discussion, with viewers comparing them to other interviews that had resurfaced in recent months. Some people argued that these old clips deserved another look, while others pointed out that extraordinary claims still require solid evidence before they should be accepted as fact. Even so, the renewed attention on those interviews encouraged people to dig through years of archived footage, searching for anything they believed had been overlooked at the time. As more archived interviews resurfaced, attention also shifted to people who claimed they had witnessed unusual behavior in the entertainment industry over the years. Several former insiders and independent content creators began comparing notes, pointing to old stories that they believed had been overlooked at the time. Some of those clips had originally received very little attention when they were first released, but once they started circulating again, viewers began examining them with fresh eyes, looking for details they may have missed years earlier. At the same time, others urged caution, noting that revisiting old interviews doesn't automatically confirm the claims being made. Many of the stories being shared online were based on personal accounts or opinions, rather than publicly verified evidence. That contrast created an interesting divide. One side believed these older interviews were valuable pieces of a much larger puzzle, while the other argued that it's important to separate documented facts from internet speculation. Meanwhile, independent creators continued digging through public records, archived videos, and past media coverage, trying to piece together a clearer timeline of events. It wasn't just recent headlines drawing attention anymore. People were now revisiting years' worth of interviews, podcasts, and public appearances, hoping to better understand how the broader story had unfolded over time. As people continued piecing together the timeline, another topic started gaining attention: how quickly online rumors can take on a life of their own once multiple stories become intertwined.
But hey, you can't have assumptions because it just makes an ass out of you and me. That's what they say. I'll never know. I'll never know, right? But I just don't like seeing stuff like that. I wake up and it ruins my whole day because I'm like, I don't think about this stuff for that reason, because I don't want to even, I can't do anything about it. I have it now. I'm half blind from it. I'm dealing with it. But if you did this to me and you've been fronting to me about, it's just...
Many creators pointed out that social media often blends verified reporting with personal opinions, anonymous posts, and recycled clips from years ago. Once that happens, it becomes increasingly difficult to tell which details are supported by official records and which is simply repeated from one video to the next. That's why several legal analysts and entertainment commentators urge viewers to pay close attention to what had actually been documented in court filings versus what was being discussed on podcasts or social media. They explain that lawsuits, interviews, and internet speculation each carry very different levels of reliability. At the same time, some of the individual
individuals whose older interviews had resurfaced maintained that they had been raising concerns for years. Supporters argued that those comments deserved another look, while critics responded that revisiting old statements still doesn't prove the underlying claims. With so many competing narratives circulating at once, separating confirmed information from speculation became almost as much of a story as the allegations themselves. And that distinction would become even more important as new developments began to unfold. One thing that became impossible to ignore was how many different versions of the story were circulating at the same time. Depending on which interview, article, or social media post someone saw first, they often came away with a completely different understanding of what had actually happened. Some creators focused almost entirely on court documents and official filings, arguing that those were the most reliable sources of information. Others spent their time analyzing old interviews, public appearances, and statements from people who claimed to have first-hand knowledge of the entertainment industry. That difference in approach led to very different conclusions. While some believed the legal proceedings told the most important part of the story, others argued that the interviews provided additional context that couldn't be ignored, even if those claims had never been independently verified. Meanwhile, media outlets continued covering each new development as it emerged, while online commentators compared the latest updates with stories that had been circulating for years. As more information became publicly available, people kept revisiting earlier claims to see whether any of them matched what was now being reported through official channels. It also raised a broader question about celebrity culture itself. For years, stories about exclusive parties, powerful connections, and behind-the-scenes influence had often been dismissed as little more than entertainment gossip. But once legal proceedings and public records entered the conversation, many people began looking back at those older stories from an entirely different perspective, setting the stage for the next chapter of the discussion.
Across this girl's story, and she came forward about being diagnosed with AIDS. Now, to my dismay, I also recognized that this is the same girl who Diplo sent me a video of. You could imagine the horror that went through my mind and my body when I realized that this was the same girl who...
As the timeline became clearer, attention also turned to how public perception can change once legal proceedings begin. Stories that had previously been dismissed as celebrity gossip were suddenly being examined alongside court filings, news reports, and archived interviews, prompting many people to reassess what they thought they knew. That didn't mean every rumor circulating online was accurate. In fact, many of the claims that spread across social media remained unsupported by official evidence, but it did encourage more people to distinguish between verified reporting and speculation, especially when older clips or anonymous posts resurfaced. Entertainment commentators also noted how quickly narratives can evolve in high-profile cases. A single interview, lawsuit, or public statement can shift the conversation overnight, leading audiences to revisit years of headlines in search of connections that may or may not exist. At the same time, legal experts continued reminding viewers that allegations should not be treated as established facts unless they are supported through the legal process. They emphasized that public opinion often moves much faster than court proceedings, making it important to evaluate new information carefully as it becomes available. With that in mind, the focus gradually shifted away from individual rumors and toward the broader picture: what had been confirmed, what was still being disputed, and which developments could ultimately have the biggest impact on the case going forward. Another aspect of the story that drew attention was how quickly public opinion shifted as more official information became available. Early on, much of the discussion was driven by viral clips and social media theories, but as additional court filings and public statements surfaced, many commentators began comparing those developments with claims that had been circulating for years. That comparison led some creators to revisit interviews that once were dismissed as exaggerated or impossible to verify. Others, however, argued that it's still important to evaluate each claim on its own merits, rather than assume separate stories are automatically connected. Legal analysts also pointed out that high-profile cases often generate a flood of unrelated rumors. Once a major headline breaks, older stories, anonymous posts, and recycled videos can quickly resurface, making it difficult to separate new developments from long-standing internet speculation. Meanwhile, news coverage continued focusing on the legal process itself, with each filing, hearing, and public statement adding another piece to the timeline. Rather than relying on social media alone, many viewers began following official updates more closely to understand which details had been documented and which remained disputed. As that process unfolded, attention gradually shifted toward the people expected to testify, the evidence likely to be examined, and the questions that still had yet to be answered. With more attention being placed on the legal proceedings, many observers also began asking a different question. What evidence would actually be presented, and how much of the online discussion would hold up under closer scrutiny? Former prosecutors and legal commentators explained that public opinion in courtroom proceedings often move at very different speeds. While social media can amplify a story within hours, the legal process relies on documents, witness testimony, and evidence that can be examined and challenged.
Not only do I have a video of her having unprotected sex with Diplo, but I also had unprotected sex with Diplo. And when I started doing the timeline of, when she said she got diagnosed, how long the doctors assumed that she had it for, I realized that she had already had it and had with him before I had.
That distinction became increasingly important as people revisited months of viral posts and podcast clips. Some claims that it spread widely online were never backed by official records, while others closely mirrored information that later appeared in public filings. For many viewers, understanding the difference became just as important as following the latest headlines. At the same time, journalists covering the case continued piecing together a detailed timeline from court records, interviews, and public statements. Rather than focusing on isolated rumors, they looked at how different events fit together chronologically and what could actually be verified. As more details emerged through official channels, the conversation began shifting toward what witnesses might reveal, how both sides would present their arguments, and whether the upcoming stages of the case would answer some of the questions that had been circulating for so long. Another point that kept coming up was the role social media played in shaping the public's understanding of the case. Every time a new court document became public or a hearing concluded, countless creators rushed to explain what they believed it meant, often reaching very different conclusions from the same information. Some focused strictly on the language used in official filings, while others tried to connect those documents to years of interviews, podcasts, and public appearances. That approach created a wide range of interpretations, with some viewers preferring documented facts and others paying closer attention to long-running industry stories. Legal commentators repeatedly reminded audiences that court filings represent allegations and arguments made by the parties involved. They explained that each claim still has to be examined through the legal process before any conclusions can be reached. Meanwhile, reporters covering the proceedings continued tracking every procedural update, including scheduling decisions, motions filed by both sides, and statements released through attorneys. Those developments helped provide a clearer picture of how the case was progressing beyond the daily wave of online commentary. With the legal process continuing to move forward, attention naturally shifted to the next round of proceedings, where additional testimony and evidence could provide more context about the issues that had fueled so much discussion from the very beginning. It really is a heartbreaking situation, regardless of which rumors or theories people choose to believe. At the end of the day, it's important to separate verified facts from online speculation and let the legal process run its course. Now I want to hear from you. Why do you think Katt Williams decided to speak so openly after all these years? And what are your thoughts on all the different claims and rumors that have been circulating online? Share your opinion in the comments below. I always enjoy reading what you have to say. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share this video with anyone who might find the discussion interesting. And before you go, be sure to click on the next video on your screen because trust me, you won't want to miss that one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.